Okay, yes. Okay, welcome all. This is the Park and Rec meeting for Wednesday, March 9th. Meeting has started at approximately 6:35. The meeting is being held hybrid, in person and through Zoom for COVID restrictions purposes. Those present at the meeting are myself, Jeannie Reed, Dave DeLore.
Getting better.
Thank you. I'm gonna make you say it again, maybe. Mike Shield, John Wally, present for for Park and Rec commissioners. We will begin the meeting first with public comment.
If there's any, I don't see anybody on. Let's verify that. Oh, we're good.
Okay, so we have no public comment for tonight. We will continue on with approving of bills and minutes.
Bills?
No bills?
Wow.
Okay. No bills. Oh my goodness. And then we have the minutes would be from February 9th meeting. Any
I'll make a
comment?
motion to approve them.
I would second that.
Seconds the motion. Dave DeLore?
Yeah.
Thank you. Second, we'll just go by, we'll go around the room. Jeannie Reed approves. Dave, how do you vote?
Approved.
Mike Shield, how do you vote?
Approved.
You, John Wally, how do you vote?
Approve.
Okay, the minutes for February 9th are approved. Moving on to our topics of discussion, we will first start with Wally Park. And the first on the agenda is the fall flu clinic, which I can comment on. I just had an idea that we could perhaps have a flu clinic that could encompass anyone who is a member of the town, the senior center, employees of the town hall. And I have an individual who works at Stop and Shop as a pharmacist, so it would be sponsored by Stop and Shop. And just briefly would be obviously a flu clinic where folks pre-registration is recommended but not required. The pre-registration would be so that they know how many vials of the flu shot to bring in. It could be either August, September, October. We could pick a date. With that being said, it could be held at Wally Park if it were a nice day, or at the senior center, or here in the town hall, you know, depending on weather and you know, transportation for seniors or something like that. And what it would require would be the person would sign up and put in, if they wanted to pre-register, they could sign up online, make it easier. They fill out their information, their insurance information, then they come in, they get the shot, and they're on their way. I think it's a thought. It's something to kind of drum up Park and Rec exposure, Council on Aging exposure. We could work in conjunction, help out our seniors, you know, probably first and foremost, and then anyone else who wants to come along to it. So it's still a ways away. There's no date set yet, but it is just an idea if we wanted to consider it.
I think it's worthwhile.
Okay.
Yep, we usually have one here for the seniors. They usually like it. Their doctors recommend end of September, beginning of October. But we can move it to Wally Park and make sure people get there, or we could do it here for everyone, you know, whatever, and put the Park and Rec banner up. The Park and Rec banner, right?
It's being worked on.
I know, I'm teasing you. And we just have to make sure, and I know Stop and Shop will do it to make sure it's the high dose for seniors.
Yes, she did tell me
Yep,
there's 2 doses.
it's awesome, yep.
65 and over gets one particular dose, and then under gets another. And then the Medicare would be for 65 and over,
Mhm.
and then regular insurance for the unders. And I think that's kind of it. I also asked her if she would be willing to come in and do a slight presentation to the board
Great.
at a future date, just so we could iron out particulars and ask questions and get more specific information.
Mhm.
If it's a thought, we could do that.
Yeah, it's great. We usually have about 100 seniors who
Okay.
will get the flu shot.
So she said it must be 20 minimum, which I would think obviously if you got the seniors. you're
Oh, yeah, we
already
have at least
covered.
100, yeah.
And that would be it. And then we could open it up to whoever wanted to do.
I think your microphone went out.
Can you hear us?
Now we can.
I don't know where this,
Oh.
I think it's, I
Can
don't
you
know.
hear me, Mike?
Yeah, now I can, yeah.
So that's pretty much it. That's just what I wanted to present as an idea to just kind of keep in line with trying to get exposure and, have some things that we can offer the town.
I think it's a great idea. I think that's a great idea. Be very well received, I think. And if we could do it in September outside on a nice day, for the seniors, I think that'd be fabulous. Beautiful park, and I think that'd be great.
We could have snacks.
Well, I was thinking that.
Absolutely, we could. I'll go.
And would transportation be an issue for seniors if it were actually at the park?
No, we could get them there, no problem.
Busing or something
No,
along
we
those
have-
lines?
We have several busing options.
Okay,
Yep, no problem.
okay. So if it were to be a nice day, that would be great, just for the exposure to the park and then helping out with, in conjunction with Council of Aging. So I
Mhm.
think that would be good.
Yep, they wait for us to have it, so we would just tell them where it was and what time and
Okay, great.
perfect.
So what we would do would be, did you want her, her name is Risha, so I should say that. Would you want her to come in and do a presentation and maybe we could pick a date?
Sure.
Okay.
Or we could just pick a date. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really
Yeah, we could.
up to you and her.
So if I were to ask her some dates, she could throw a few at me and then I could bring it back at the next meeting and we could pick from one of those dates.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say later August or September.
Okay.
So if that fits, we can pick dates for what is good for you, what you normally would do, and then I
Okay.
can come back with her and say, hey, these are the dates we talked about.
Okay,
Okay,
sure.
all right. Just look at September. August.
I would say probably September because in order for Medicare to pay for it, it has to be 12 months.
Okay,
So we have to find out. I don't remember when our last one was this year. We had so many different
Yeah.
clinics this year
We had the
between
booster
COVID and
and
boosters
COVID,
and the
right.
flu that I don't remember.
So-
So,
Even if she had a couple dates the first or second week of
Yeah.
September, I think that would be good.
all right, so that,
I mean,
that narrows it
third,
down.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, things kind of got pushed a little bit this year because of the boosters and the vaccines and everything. So,
sure,
yeah, that would be great. Stop and Shop's a great partner, so
okay,
it'd be great.
all right.
And are you thinking about during the week or a weekend?
I
If
don't know.
If it's a weekend, we have the Rugged Maniac. I'm not sure when that is this year. I
It's
don't know.
usually like the 20th.
during the week would be fabulous.
You
Yes,
want it during the
we
week.
usually do it during the week for
Okay.
seniors, but
Then we can
about
do
the
that.
community, I don't know how that
Well, I
will work
I will
unless we
ask
do it
her.
during a vacation or a day off from school where there's more people available. I mean, I guess we could look at that.
I will ask her, and also I would ask her,
Half day, something like that.
They usually have one during the Big E timeframe. So if you're at the end of September, or towards the middle of September, then there'll be at least a half day there somewhere.
Yeah, a half day might work in order for people to come.
She said if there's high numbers, we could do multiple dates as well.
Okay.
So we could always do a weekday,
Mhm.
make sure the seniors are done, and then do another time. So I'll kind of throw that out to her and see what
Okay.
she says.
Sure.
But we'll start with a weekday.
Mhm.
Maybe we can do the timing where somebody could leave after work and get it done, but not go till
Yeah.
hours at night, but
Yeah.
Yep.
something like that.
Mhm.
Okay,
Perfect.
all right. Okay, so that's good. So we'll just work on that a little more. We'll keep it on the agenda, or we'll put it back on the agenda for another time to confirm the date and
Okay.
particulars.
24th and 25th is a rugged meeting.
I was just gonna look it up.
Thank you.
I'm like, I wonder if they've got that up already.
Yeah, they usually do.
Oh, actually.
No, I mean them. Yeah, September 24th, 25th.
Oh, okay, I didn't. Okay, and then, okay, so we're good with that, everyone?
Mhm.
All right, so we'll move on to Rob is here for soccer.
Well, not really for soccer, more for. Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to touch base with you guys because I've actually, I'm Rob Stevenson. I'm at 10 South Long Air Road. I don't know if you guys have to do that. We make people do that at the
Public
school,
participation you do.
at the school committee
Yeah.
meetings. But I'm also the school committee chairman for the Southwick Towland Granville School District. And we are right in the, and I'm sure you guys everybody's in the middle of budget season right now. But there's a couple things that we've been talking about with respect to looking at the grounds of the district that we want to try to be able to repair. Obviously, the schools themselves got the upgrade there 5-6 years ago or even more than that, when we built the additions and did everything. But we're looking at making some improvements on the outside. One of the big things is our varsity baseball field is in pretty big disrepair. And I know, and I sort of was touching base, I had some parents approach me about seeing if we could have the varsity games at Wally Park this year and whether we could do that. And that kind of opened up a conversation with Joe Trammell about, well, why can't we just have all of our varsity games at Wally? It's right down the street. And with budget coming up, it really doesn't make any sense from my perspective to sit there and try to allocate funds that all of us as taxpayers are going to end up having to pay a piece of anyway to repair a baseball field at the school grounds when we've got a perfectly beautiful field sitting right at Wally Park that if we could, as three groups, and I mean like sort of the rec center, the school, and Park and Rec, potentially get together to try to solve some, I'll call them long-standing sort of challenges that might have been out there with respect to like summer soccer where the kids play. When I was talking with Mr. Trammell, he indicated that a number of years ago, and I don't know exactly how many, but there was a question of whether the school would be able to potentially help with some of the mowing because of the large mowers that they've got that they use to help out there at Wally to try to defer some of the costs. And at that point, my understanding is that didn't really go anywhere. When I brought that up to Joe Trammell, he didn't seem to think that that would necessarily be a non-starter, that if maybe we could, as three groups, kind of put our heads together and maybe get the rec center to maybe help out with some of the mowing, because we've got some smaller mowers that we do all the time. And if the school could help out, maybe we could try to figure out a plan between all three groups with respect to summer soccer as to where the kids can play. Put it on my thoughts were like a rotating sort of 3-year arrangement where 1 year they play at Foisey, 1 year they're at Wally, 1 year they're at the varsity field at the school ground. And then maybe get baseball set up where the kids can use the varsity field or at the varsity games at the baseball field. We might be able to get together and solve some problems that have been outstanding for a number of years. What I'm really looking for is a couple members. I've already touched base with Rick Harriman about this. He thinks he's indicated to me, he thought it was a great idea. I know Rick has touched base with Dave, or from what I've heard. I've already, from a, I guess, procedural perspective, got an ad hoc sort of athletics committee approved at the school board level. So we got that approved at our last meeting. I've already had conversations with the rec center board. They're looking to give they're going to have a couple of members join that committee. I've got myself and Pat Jubb that are probably going to be representatives for the school committee. Mr. Trammell's going to is agreed to be on this, and we're looking to get Eric Wykander, who's the head of grounds. If I could get a couple members from the Park and Rec Board, and I know Rick indicated he was certainly interested. I talked to Cindy today. She mentioned that we might want to have somebody from buildings.
Well, it'll be buildings and grounds, David Sutton.
Yeah. So I've already got the logistics part sort of approved. I just need the bodies in order to get this done. I think we've got an opportunity right now with the three groups that kind of look after the sporting activities for all the kids in town to maybe get together, put our heads together and solve some longstanding problems. I know Mike's dealt with some of this when his kids were younger with Summerside. I mean, this has been an issue forever trying to get some of this stuff resolved.
I'd be glad to be part of that, for the Park and Rec. You're right. I watched, my kids play on lousy fields, and then, my youngest, his junior and senior year, they got to play at Wally Park, and it was beautiful. And, I would love it, to have, evening soccer games, evening softball games, evening baseball games. Again, my kids are all grown up, but I think it's easier for the parents to get to the games. It's a beautiful facility. There's some costs, right, as we know, with the lights and all that, but hopefully we could communicate. And, I'd love to be part of it, really to promote, Wally Park, and to get, the youth, the young folks to be able to use it, the parents to get to go to the games. And, we got multiple compliments, and again, it got maybe beat up a little bit with some drought there a couple of summers ago, but, we're going to get the fields back to good working condition. And, I would like to be part of that, just so these high school kids could have a spot, because the baseball field, it's just a tough place to play a varsity baseball game there when you have a beautiful park right down the street with a fence and lights and whatnot. So yeah, again, I do have some travel coming up in the spring, but I'll do my best to make meetings, and whatnot. So you can put me.
I know we're coming up on like the varsity schedule. I think they have games that start in April.
April 4th, yeah.
So, I mean, maybe I can touch base with, or who would I want to touch base with, check availability of the.
Yeah, it would be us. So we already looked at that. So we already have some. So the Southwick varsity schedule is driven by the MIAA.
Yep, and it's
so
all
that's
on
hard to, that's hard to change. So we already have some commitments that I think might be, because people start booking the fields like in, I don't know, like a month ago.
Yep.
So, I mean, I know we want to make this happen fairly quickly and have some meetings. I don't want to shut the door on it. I just want to say that we've already committed to some teams there. So I tried to get back on the MIA app because my son plays baseball.
It's on Arbiter Sports now. So it's a much better app than it was before.
Is it? Okay.
That's what I do on mine.
And they've got, and they have, there is wiggle room with those schedules. Like right now, when I looked this week, he only had 2 home games scheduled.
Okay. So
I do know that they've moved those things around before. And to me, I'm with you, Mike. It's why in the heck would we want to? I mean, if we're looking at putting some funds in to have a consultant be able to work with the school committee and the grounds over there to kind of identify, like I'd love to get the bleachers back at the track again. I even want to look at maybe some portable lights so that we've got the ability to have an evening soccer game, or if you want to move the lights and have an evening field hockey game, my God, I mean, wouldn't that be awesome? And then if we've got baseball games that we can do at night at Wally, it doesn't make any sense for us to go to the town and say, hey, look, we want to do $20,000 to redo the baseball field when we've got Wally Park right there. And if there's a way that you know what, I can get the school and Foisey or their rec center to kind of help out deferring some costs with mowing, because I think when I touched base with Mr. Deedy the other night, he indicated that this may be good timing because apparently you guys are looking at potentially trying to get a capital something for a big mower anyway. I mean, you might
But
be able.
David Sutton asked for it.
Yeah, so that may be something that if we're able to get this worked out, we may not have to incur that expense for the town. It could really create a nice win-win scenario here for everybody. And worst case, if we can take a look at the schedule, even if we don't get, I mean, ideally, I'd love to get this set up where everybody has some skin in the game. We're able to do this where obviously if it's a day game, it'd be great if we didn't have to incur any costs from the school side. If it's a night game, I get it. I mean, Cindy and I talked about that. I mean, I'm not looking for the Park and Rec department to say, hey, look, we can have every night game and there's no charge. There's got to be a way to come up with a way to make that work too. But I'm just, I guess, looking to see if we can get it once and for all, maybe some of these long-term solutions resolved.
I would be happy as the administrator, if you wanted me to be on this ad hoc committee, I'd be willing to do that, to help with the scheduling piece of it and knowing what's available and knowing some of those numbers, you know, but that's up to you guys, whoever you want on it, or if you don't want to move forward, that's really up to you
Yeah.
guys. And I told Rob that it's not up to Kara and I today to decide that. It was really up to you guys too.
Yeah, I think if Mike's willing to, I mean, I do enough with the trail and stuff
Mhm.
that.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
other things going on.
Right,
I
yeah.
Don't have the time to do
I
any
get
more
it.
committees.
I know Rick has indicated that he was interested, so he, obviously he's not here tonight, but,
Well, we'll volunteer him for you.
well, I've already talked to him and he kind of already said he'd throw his hat in, so, I mean, and that's nice, because that way, I mean, I've got, if Rick and Mike are on there, then I've already got the guys that know the rec center real well from years too, so we've got lots of people that really know the situation.
Carrie, you can share my, contact information if, anyone needs to get in touch with me about that committee. So be glad to be part of it.
So, and we thought it would be easier from a logistical side if it sort of was run through the school committee, because I've already got it approved. Amy can help me with respect to notices and making sure that the committee's not, this ad hoc committee is not really going to make decisions. We can make recommendations, obviously. Once we get to something that I think everybody's happy with, it's going to have to go back to the rec center board to get approved. It's going to have to go, it's almost like the three towns. We're going to have to go back to school committee and you guys are going to have to vote on it as well. So.
I'd be glad to help out too if you need me.
Very good. So you got three.
Well,
three folks from-
that's the feedback I was hoping for. I mean, everybody that I've talked to about this so far, they've all been, this is a great idea. This is probably something we should have done a long time ago, and we just haven't been able to get it done. So
Now we have three, and probably two of them will show up.
now, are you guys, I guess,
Yeah.
would you have to, since we would be discussing a potential voting decision that would go to Park and Rec, wouldn't you run into a quorum issue if you have more than two? Because you guys have a board of
so there could
five.
not be more than two.
Yeah, there could not be more than two.
I'm not a
You
voting
could.
member.
Right,
I'm not a voting member.
Right.
You still-
No, there can only be two, but you need two to be there.
Yeah.
Because I have some travel coming up in the spring, so in case I couldn't be there, John could go and vice versa.
Yeah. Perfect.
Right.
Yeah, I just don't, I mean, that's why we can only have, we can't have more than three members on our committee on anything.
Same thing.
Yeah.
I'm glad you came, and, I'd be anxious to, see some high school games at night, and if we could do it, and I think it's a great thought.
Yeah, I don't think it
park,
would necessarily, I don't think it would necessarily take a lot of meetings, Mike, in order, I mean, if, I've already had discussions with Mr. Trammell, I've already had discussions with the rec center, now I'm talking, you guys are like the last piece of the puzzle. I mean, we're not talking about a real difficult logistical lift here to try to get easy stuff done. I mean, we could probably accomplish it in 2 meetings and then bring it back to the boards.
Mhm.
So,
Very good.
all right, well, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it. Appreciate it.
So I don't know if you want to you want him to email me and Kara, or?
We lost the mic again.
Yep.
I was talking low, I'm sorry. I was
Right.
using my inside voice.
Oh, all right.
I think
How you want him to
Just
coordinate it.
communicate through us.
Communicate
Yeah,
through you
and we can
guys,
communicate
and then
to you guys.
those guys can figure out how they want to attend meetings, be the voting, whoever can be the voting factor. And then you guys can, as a group, can report back to the entire park and
If I
rec.
can just
Okay.
send the email to everybody.
Really, all I want to be able to do is, okay, here's, now that I got agreed, like, you guys, yes, we're interested. The
Yes.
next step would be to set up a meeting.
Set up a meeting.
Now we can either do that here, we could do it at the rec center in the conference room. Obviously the school, after school gets a
Yeah.
little trickier to do stuff, but as long as we post it and I can get Amy to post all this stuff.
Yep.
So we're under like proper compliance. I mean, really the only thing that's time sensitive that I'd like to accomplish sooner than later, and that doesn't even necessarily need all the answers that we're going to try to resolve here, is if I can get I'll touch base with Joe Trammell and I can get the athletic director to reach out to you and maybe coordinate, trying to lock these games in. And then depending on how we resolve this, we're either going to say, yep, we've got it resolved, don't worry about it. Or if we need to make payments for $50 for the home, I don't think I'm going to have a real difficult issue trying to get that moved through the school committee.
Yep.
All right. Well, perfect.
It's a beautiful
Thank you very
park.
much. Yeah, no, I mean, it's
Absolutely. Yep.
agreed.
Okay, so let me know, email us.
Yeah,
Call me and let
I'll
me know
touch
when
base.
you
Are you
wanna
gonna be
have
around
it.
tomorrow?
Yeah, oh
Okay.
yeah,
That's fine.
Yep.
I'll
yep,
find you.
absolutely.
When-
Yeah,
Sydney, when would you like me to chime in about the field itself?
I think you can be next. Can Terry go next?
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yep.
So are you all set, Rob?
I'm good. Thank
Okay.
you for your time, guys.
I don't know if you might want to stay and
That's,
hear
as soon as you
what's
said
going on.
that, Terry, I was gonna hang out for a little bit.
Okay. Well, if I'm on, then just want to kind of start off by saying I'm not your liaison to the finance committee. This has nothing to do with the finance committee, on any of this stuff. What I did say in the meeting was that I would get some numbers together for the Parks and Rec budget that were requested by Dave Sutton. So I have no dollar or whatever connection with any of these places, but I've sourced what he was looking for. One of the questions that I've had for years with up there, and I never gotten an answer, but now we're in good shape, is talking to Walt from Heritage, which does the fertilizing up there. I could never get an answer on what kind of fertilizer, what analysis he was using, blah, blah, blah. So I did talk to him. I just want you guys to know that who he's working, he's on it. It looks like, at least for his first application, it's a good one. The type of fertilizer and the place where it's coming from, reputable. You're in good shape there. Actually, one of the guys that works up there, not his salesman, but actually used to work for me in the turf division. He was my salesman in the turf division. I also want everybody to know that I'm not an expert, but I have been involved in this for a number of years. So I do understand it, but I am not an expert. And so what I came up with, let's see, it started with Dave. I came up with some numbers for him for the same infield mix that he was using, or that John got for the fields up there. I do have it sourced. It is the place that I used to work for, but they do have it in the pickup in pickup quantities instead of those tractor trailers. And I've always donated some stuff up there. I'm kind of thinking that I'm going to donate at least a couple of buckets for it. There's a couple of tons. Stuff on what do you call it there? Restricted income or whatever.
Thank you.
Terry,
I also, yeah.
Harry,
go
can I
ahead.
interrupt you for a second? I just want to update the committee because we met on Saturday for FinCom, and what you're talking about, some of the committee members don't know that David had requested in the budget because it was kind of a surprise to Kara and I as well. Just because David's new, he didn't know the whole process. So I don't think a lot of the committee members know even what you're talking about that he had requested numbers for. So David had requested, I think it was $2,700 to be added to the operations budget for, is it diamond sand?
Diamond Tex. That's the
Diamond
infield
text,
stuff.
some extra dirt to have on hand at the park if the fields needed to be fixed throughout the season. So
Yeah.
that's what Terry's talking about. And also we were talking about Heritage Lawn and them doing the service for us. And Kara and I had asked Terry on Monday to just talk to Walt because Walt was a little nervous about ordering products and kind of it being delayed. So we just asked Terry to speak to him instead of waiting until tonight,
Yep.
just to get that out of the way.
Yep.
So I just wanted to update people on kind of what has transpired in the last 48 hours and what happened on Saturday, them not being really necessarily aware of that ask for the operations budget.
Got it. So there was a couple end to this. One of them is the actual infields for the ball fields. Talking to Dave up there, he has some concerns about hollows and stuff around the bases, which they didn't pull for the winter. And I said that I would go up there with him and take a look and see what he might need. It might just be, freeze thaw problems up there. There's so many, little stupid things, proper raking of the infield, things like that. Told them how that product was actually designed to repel water, have it roll off as opposed to, percolating through. And so anyway, I want to go up there and when we can walk on it without, when there's no frost up there, and kind of go through those problems, see what I can help them with on that, if that's okay again with the committee. And then so the other part of that is there's also some they're called soil amendments or they're amendments for things like the product's called Turfus. It's like a speedy dry or whatever type of thing, but it's made for ball fields. And I kind of went through that with him, how that works if you've got a wet spot that you really want to get cleaned up, and immediately there's a product you can throw on it and it'll suck it up. But then that fine part of it, it's got to get off the field. That's not what you want to incorporate into the infield mix. Anyway, that's getting too much in the weeds here. So I've got them some pricing, gave them some literature on the products. I'll go up and we'll take a look at that, what the issues he has. I'll be donating something for that. And I think that's pretty much it as far as the actual infield, you know, the infield stuff. The other one was the fertilizer, which okay, one of the first things that has to be done up there is, again, needs to have a soil sample done. And I couldn't find, I thought I had a soil probe here myself, but I talked to Walt. He has them available that I can get and go up there, and I will make those, I will take the samples for you, again, if that's okay with everybody. And then I'll give them to Cindy, and she's been doing some work on that, on where to take those. And part of it is what exactly is, what kind of soil test that you want. You know, it's not a simple acidity things. It's what, you know, how much, what nitrogen is available, phosphorus, there's plenty of that always up there. And then potassium. That field, when John turned it over, it was very, very, very low, unbelievably low in potassium. And some of the other stuff that I donated up there, there's a that was designed to actually bring up the potassium quite a bit. Again, getting in the weeds, but what Walt is going to need from you guys in the, you know, or what he's going to need is some direction on what the analysis of the fertilizers that he's going to need. So I can just about tell you that you're going to need a little higher in potassium. I'm just guessing, but you know, it would be a pretty educated guess. So instead of having, you know, very low number in that, you get something considerably higher. Price may change a little bit, generally not going to make a big difference as far as the pricing goes. I told him I wasn't going to recommend anything different than what he's doing now as far as that goes. So my recommendations were to get the soil test. Like I said, as soon as we can get in there, I can do that for you if that's okay with everybody. And then page three. And then we also, the other thing up there is it's been in his bid, I think, that I've seen this multiple times, is looking for grubs. And I'm not sure if there's grubs up there or not. That's something that needs to get checked and see where it is, especially in the money fields, the soccer fields, and the baseball field, and then to a lesser degree the other ones, softball, little league, and whatever. I don't know what's up there, and frankly, I'm not really sure exactly how to take a test for that. Again, I'm not an expert on all of this stuff. I can find out that information, you know, but I think you need to have that done just to see if you have a problem or not. Because if you don't have a problem with them, currently, you don't need to spend the money on that application, which can add, you know, it's a lot more expensive. The product is a lot more expensive than the fertilizer carrier, if he's going to be doing a fertilizer on that. So don't know if that's a problem. I can look into that again if people are interested. I right now don't know exactly how to test for it. And I did suggest a different fertilizer to him, or a different grub control if he does want to go that route, if we need to go that route. And it's something that's absolutely much safer than the Merit. Not that Merit's a bad product, but this thing is, it's called a Celiprin. It's, there's no warning label on it. I mean, I think water has a warning label on it. But you know, Merit has some kind of thing, whether it's caution or whatever, but the Celiprin doesn't. So it's really it's the newest generation of control. So
But
those were some
Terry,
of the,
I talked to Walt a lot about grubs. I learned a lot about grubs in the last 48 hours. So I
Yeah.
think he has a plan for that. The problem with that is some of the investigating and the testing is going to cost additional time and money as well. So it's kind of a balance of trying to figure that out.
well, first thing you got to find out whether you need it or not. And again, I'm not, if he's got a way to do it, whatever. I mean,
Yep.
I'm just added, putting stuff out. You guys, tell me if you want me to do anything or not. It's, it's fine. I'm retired. I got the time. But that's fine if he's on it. So one of the other things that I had a suggestion for was to get those fields aerified. And he made a good comment on that he actually has the capability to aerify the fields. His idea was to maybe do it in sections instead of trying to do the whole kit and caboodle. So again, that's another thing. It might be another cost somewhere down the line. If you get some budget numbers from him or whoever else does it, that's not that's your end now. So
He's going to get us a quote in August on that so that if it is approved, it would be done in September or October. I told him to give us a quote.
he did. Okay, good. Yeah. So
I learned a lot about grass and grubs in the last several days. I'm almost as
good.
good as Kara.
grubs are delicious if properly.
I haven't eaten yet, Terry, so, don't tempt me.
Yeah. Well, they're good in the bottom of a tequila. So
Wow.
let's see. The other suggestion he made, which is another good one, is to have the town come up with a set of specs for the park for fertilizing and he doesn't do the mowing, so for fertilizing and up there. So everybody's on the same page as far as, what they're using and that kind of thing. I've seen that with, a lot of schools, that have that too. I think that's pretty much it. Like I said, if it's okay with you, I'll go up and do those soil testing. Once we're able to do that, I'll go up with Dave. We'll take a look at the fields as far as the infield mixes. Suggest it, if there's lips on the between the infield and the outfield, how to maybe cure that. I like the thought of the park or the the high school using that. There's a thing that I've done, and I remember spent a lot of time with the guy when we sent stuff up to where was that? Avon Old Farms, and what the coach there does is he makes sure that before or after every practice that the guys get out there and do proper raking the infield mix product back away from the where it should be and away from the outfield grass. And that's a big problem a lot of times when they start doing this big dragging the fields. A lot of times centrifugal force pushes the soil or the infield mix out to the edge of the into the infield or outfield grass, and then that's where you get your lip. And that's the coaches, is that something that they can they can direct their kids to do that after every game or after every practice or whatever. It's great discipline for them. And the coach, that's just modus operandi for a lot of these coaches. So it'd be good to have it instead of just having some travel team come through and they don't care, whatever. So that's pretty much all I know. far as that goes. If you want me to, I didn't think you have to take a vote, but just let me know if you want me to keep proceeding the way I'm going, and then,
Yeah, I think it's definitely worthwhile. I'm not sure what everybody else says.
okay.
I
Anybody
agree.
really?
Terry has always been a great resource.
Thank you,
And we
John.
appreciate what he does. And keep doing it.
Okay, thanks. I remember out there raking those little, before he put the infield mix down, trying to rake out the stones up there in the, well, that's
The key
before
with
I
the
had that was before I had my knee operation, so I was dying. I was dying doing that.
The key with having some spare diamond dirt is to keep the weeds out of it. You gotta spray it with Roundup every once in a while. Otherwise, the weeds go down there and they make it useless.
Yeah. Well, again, if they're raking and dragging, that soil's broken up, continually, or, quite often. So there shouldn't be, for them to, a weed seed to sit there for,
Oh, I was
for,
talking about the spare that you're gonna have somewhere that you
oh,
can
there.
tap into.
Yeah. I talked to him about that and told him about how they're stored there, how that product is stored at Northern. They actually have, in their bin, they actually have railroad rails, the actual steel rails on the bottom, so that the bucket never scoops into the dirt underneath. So
Yeah,
he's
that's
talking
great.
pouring maybe a slab up there. Wouldn't have to be anything big, and then doing some, maybe railroad tie type things around it, and then I told him it definitely has to be covered. So
Yeah.
you got to keep it semi-dry. So anyway, that's all I know. I don't know anything else. Anybody want to talk about Camasiparus or?
Absolutely not.
Okay, good.
So I'm happy to talk to Terry about what testing to get done with the soil, if that's
Yeah,
okay with you
that's-
guys. We'll make that happen.
I suggest the sectioning off of areas would be beneficial.
Yeah, only
Because the park
doing,
is huge
Yeah.
and,
yep,
I think that we don't necessarily need to have every
Right.
spot of the park
agreed.
soil tested, but the areas that are obviously our money makers.
Yep.
That's all I was looking for, Gene. That's all I was gonna do. The other ones, I mean, they're not. I guess I'm putting the finance committee hat back on. Those are the ones that I want to make sure we keep good. So
We're looking forward to your positive vote on all of our asks for the budget.
I just one person, but
I'm teasing you.
Art's aware of that stuff up there, and if there's anything more detailed that needs to be done, I have a resource that I can bring up. It's just going to cost me a lunch and several beers to get it to get them to help me out. So with that, he's the one that built Rensselaer Field. He's does Fairfield University. He does quite a few of them around, rebuilding these fields. And so if I need any help from him being the expert, I can bring him up. So that's it. That's all I got.
Great, Terry. We appreciate it.
Thanks,
Okay,
Terry.
John. All right. Have a good one, y'all.
Bye.
Thanks.
I'll be in
Bye,
touch.
Terry.
Okay, I'll see you Friday, probably, Cindy.
Okay, perfect. I'll be there.
All right,
Yep.
thanks. Okay.
So, any further comments on that, you guys?
Just can't hear you.
We didn't hear you.
Any further comments or anything for more discussion on that?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Yeah, can we're gonna move on. I think this is for me because I mentioned this, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I wasn't sure if you wanted to.
Yeah, no, in our past couple meetings when we were talking about fundraisers or things to do to drum up Wally Park and try to raise some money, I thought about, what about having a craft fair at the park, with vendors paying for a table and then the proceeds would go to Wally Park, possibly having, this doesn't bring us money, but food trucks maybe, because they bring people that like certain food trucks. If you bring in good ones, that brings the people, that makes them walk around to the crafters and possibly buy, and then everybody's happy. So I thought that that would be something that we could consider for a fundraiser for Wally Park. Obviously, we're not gonna make millions, but again, in line with our whole new setup of how we have the commission and how we have employees that can help us, you know, maybe there's stuff that can now get accomplished to expose, again, Wally Park, or not Wally Park, excuse me, Park and Rec, and do things that Park and Rec should be sponsoring or putting on as, you know, what other towns do when it comes to Park and Rec. So it's just a thought. It's obviously would have to require some research into how much you would charge for a table and who comes and dates and times and things like that. But it is an idea that just kind of throwing out there.
I think that's a good thought. You certainly can get, you know, with food trucks and whatnot, you may get people up there, and certainly craft fairs if, you know, people are willing to do it.
Yeah. I was thinking about asking a friend of mine who has been hosting a lot of them at the Hash House,
Okay,
either to kind of guide me with how to put it together, or if he wants to take maybe one of his fairs and have it there or something along those lines, that kind of like work in conjunction with him, or again, have him just kind of tell me, hey, I'm going to ask him, hey, how do you do, you know, how do you do this and what do you do? Like, what do you charge for tables? And it requires some research too. I guess there's some kind of website for mass crafters and vendors. It's kind of a whole cult, but if you have the right vendors at a craft fair, and you have a lot of people and we have tons of area for setup, you could really probably make some good money on charging for a table or two tables or however the case may be. So it's a thought to maybe we don't do it now, but maybe in the fall we could do it, you know, like Columbus Day weekend or Labor Day weekend, something along those lines.
I think it's a good thought, absolutely.
So we'll just keep it in mind and then start working on some particulars and for future.
I think we lost you again.
I just said, we'll keep it in mind for future stuff after some research is done and some more specific information can be obtained.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
And maybe we can link it up with something else that we
Yeah.
have going up there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah,
Might as well.
yeah,
Working on that.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna move on so we can go home at a decent time. Cindy, I think you're gonna be talking brochures.
Yep. So we had Spotlight graphics. We talked at the last meeting about them mocking up a brochure. I didn't know we were gonna get 3 or 4 inches of snow, so not everybody would be here. But I don't know if you can see this or not. Can you see that?
Maybe you could
Oh,
email
Both
it
sides, I
or
can email it for sure. I don't know where the camera is.
I can,
Yeah, there
yep,
you go.
looks good.
Oh, sorry, guys.
And it
I'm
would be
trying to-
a tri-fold. There you go.
So it's front and back.
Yep,
Sorry, I'm trying to
Go to the right.
go to my
Got
right.
There you go.
we got it.
All right, and then it
Folds.
folds like this or something along those lines.
Yep. So, the pricing that we have for that is, to get 355 of them is, 350, is this right? No, 250. I don't have my glasses are on my head. It would help if I put them on my face. To get 250 of them would be $355. To get 1,000 would be $415. 2,500 would be $625, and then the design fee was 180. So Kara and I talked, and we thought maybe 1,000 for $415 would be a good start. And what is on the brochure is everything. It's promoting Wally Park, it's promoting the town beach, the rail trail, our programs, our various programs that we do, and asking for donations on the back to either the Wally Park gift account or the Southwick Park and Rec gift account. So it has the rental fees for the pavilion, the fields, and then the hours of the town beach. So I know that's kind of a vote that you guys can make. And we have the money in various programs of the town budget
So
to,
that's where it would come
We
out.
got plenty of
Yep.
money.
Okay.
Yeah, the brochure looks good, and I think we should go with 1,000 of them. That's just my opinion.
I would second that motion, Dave.
We're good.
Brochures, 1,000 of them for $415. John Wally seconded it. We'll go around the room for a vote. Jeannie Reed, aye.
David DeLaurie, aye.
Mike Shields?
Yes.
Okay. John Wally?
I'm an aye.
Okay, unanimous decision to, unanimous vote, excuse me, to approve the 1,000 brochures at the sum of $415. All right.
perfect.
Okay, so we're done with Wally Park for now? Okay.
Yep.
We'll move on to the rail trail.
Nothing
Not
bad.
too
I was
exciting.
down on it yesterday afternoon.
Before the snow?
Yeah, well, it was clear. Yeah, I took down a couple of trees. I had somebody help me, things that were leaning over that I was gonna have a tree guy take care of anyways. But nothing else,
Okay. Yeah, we
Yeah,
haven't
normal.
heard, we haven't gotten anything.
Yeah, I haven't heard any more
which is
traction.
good, because after
reporting.
that wind the other day, it was,
Ooh, I
Yeah.
thought for sure we'd get calls.
yeah, I thought for sure we were too. That's why I figured I'd take a ride
Yeah.
yesterday. But
It's only
it looked-
two-
It looked
two.
good, just a lot of little branches.
Town Beach.
And the only other thing, I think it looks like the DPW is gonna be getting a new sidearm mower. And according to the selectmen, part of their
Mhm.
deal of getting that is doing the rail trail, a third of it every 3 years. So hopefully we don't have to beat them up about it every single year, because it's been 2 years since they've been on the trail.
So that was the
That's-
decision, a third of it?
Once
Yeah.
every 3 years?
Yeah, which will, I think that'll be good, because there's one section that's really, really bad now and another one that could go next year.
So
There's
you're talking, it's 6 miles long,
like 2 miles a year.
or 2
Well,
miles a year?
both sides, like, yeah, because you can't really have them start at one end and pick spots through the 6
Right.
miles with that thing. So that would probably be the best way to go.
Okay.
We can continue discussions about that too, how
Well, I think.
much is done per year
I think we
and,
need to, and I think we need to keep up on it as a committee so that when, because we've been told this before, and I mean, we've had to fight to have them do it, or we've been told no after we were told there were arrangements.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
whoever watches this video after this and hears me say it, but it's true. that we have asked, we've went into agreements and
Yep, you're
you've
right.
called and you've asked and it's, I'm busy, we're too busy, blah, blah, blah. And I get it, and that's not to discredit anyone or any other department, but as a committee, we would probably just make sure that we keep up on it. I don't know if we can get specific months of when they're gonna do it.
Well, they're technically supposed to be doing it fairly soon, so I see Randy on the master plan committee, so I'll keep bugging him like I do every meeting.
And David Sutton is also supposed to be helping with that as well, because that's part of his new responsibilities.
Well,
Just so you know, so that you have
yeah,
an
I
extra
realize
person.
that, but
It's always good to have extra people.
Yep, it is. Okay. So we're done with rail trail?
that's it.
All right, we'll move on to the town beach.
So the town beach, we had 2 signs mocked up. I don't have prices for them yet because she just sent them to me. But this is the snack shack sign and a sign when you first come in with the prices, kind of to make them permanent, nice signs. So she just sent that to me today.
And where's this from? Who?
The same place, Spotlight
Oh,
Graphics.
okay.
Yep. And then the nose that would be added, she did add it. She sent a new email with no smoking, no alcohol, and no dogs. I think was the
Yep.
3
Very
things
good.
to add.
Is that okay to see you? So you can see it?
Yep, yep.
So they'd
Yeah,
be
that's
2
good.
feet by 3 feet. The snack shack sign would go on the black sign that I guess was put to block the light from the boats.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
So instead of it
Right.
just being a black sign, it would be the snack shack sign because there's already like a black thing there.
Background.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other sign on the bottom would be as you come in, because now it's, I mean, I think it was nicely written on a whiteboard, but it would be nice to have something professional and permanent. And then you would be able to change the pricing on the other side with a nice sticker or something as the
Okay.
years go on. So
Sure.
I don't have any pricing, but I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, if we
Yeah.
need the signs, we need the signs.
I think there would be a nice addition to the beach, kind of spruce it up. And we did buy new signs that were faded. Parking signs, just
All
the
signs.
bathroom signs were all
Replace
faded
one.
and yeah, they were all faded and bad. So we just replaced those with a PO that we had already pulled.
I think it's a good idea. Better move on before John gets upset over the sign.
I know. Well, I'm putting a nice sign over a black piece of nothing. Yeah. It's just hanging there. So,
Mhm.
yeah, because we're spending money.
I'll make a motion to get the new signs for the beach that we need for pricing and parking and the other miscellaneous signs.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion to approve the town beach signs and miscellaneous signs. Second.
They go dark during the vote.
Jeannie Reed, I vote to approve.
David DeLore, approve.
Mike Shield,
Approved?
thank you. John Wally.
Approve.
All right. Unanimous vote to approve the mentioned signs. And then with the caveat that it's will come after. One other thing I want to bring up, you guys, is that I was sitting in on the Conservation Committee meeting the other night, and there was some mention about the town beach and the erosion. And the way they were talking, they made it sound like something had to be done and all this other stuff. But I kind of had gone by me, and then I caught it, and then so I texted one of the members and said, hey, Park and Rec is doing something about that. So I'm going to make sure that the Dave McWilliams, who is the Conservation Commission chairman, A, gets the information, and we should probably make sure we go in front of Conservation Commission so that we're not, and I would imagine because we have Tynick and Levesque involved,
Yeah,
that there's specs and there's permits being
I
pulled.
think Levesque's.
Levex was supposed to do all of
Correct.
it. He was supposed to do all of that too with conservation,
Okay, so
I believe.
so I'm just gonna kind of clear it up,
Mhm.
because the way it was mentioned, it made it like there was a Levesque representative there, whether he is, if he was only doing property, building permits or building stuff presented that night, so whether he knows about the other part of the Levesque stuff, I don't know, but I think it would just be probably appropriate if we went in front of them and just said, this is what's going on, so that we're not violating any laws or anything like that. So just wanted to put that out there, and then I'll follow through. If they need for us to provide them information or whatever, we can do that, or we can go to a meeting and we can just, on behalf of Park and Rec, this is what's happening. Just so that you end up finding you sitting in on other committees, and then you're finding out that we're all kind of doing the same thing and no one's communicating it. So I'm taking the initiative to communicate that, I guess. So that's it. We can move on now to the Easter egg hunt.
Nothing new other than we're set with the fire department doing the hands-free CPR and AED training, because the Kev's Foundation will be there to present us with the actual AED that will go in the box that has been installed. It is installed,
Okay.
but we don't have the actual unit until that day, so we'll make sure we have the code and everything all set. And that is open to the public. You don't have to participate in the egg hunt in order to participate in the hands-free CPR and AED training. The newspaper is doing an article on it as well to promote it. And we have volunteers that are helping stuff 2,000 eggs.
Your kids?
The seniors.
The seniors are helping, and then we have two.
96-year-old.
Yeah.
Can we have the Easter bunny there?
Somebody wants to wear the
Can
costume.
we do the costume, or we can, do we have any money to rent an Easter bunny?
I think we should
Maybe where
make a
kids
motion
can
to
take a
nominate
picture.
Rick.
Yes. Yes. That's hysterical.
Do you think that
So-
maybe you could look into that? If we could rent an Easter bunny?
Well, so we have 6 NHS students. For some reason, they usually show up for the Easter egg hunt, but not the Christmas party. I'm not quite sure why.
Yeah,
So last year, one of them had done it.
yeah, which was good.
Oh, that's
Usually I
good.
can't tell them ahead of time though, because then they all say no.
Okay.
And when they're there, but we can see if there's good price to, yeah.
Oh, we have a
Yeah.
costume, so
But maybe
we
where
put
we have,
someone-
maybe we have a photo op, or maybe we have somewhere where we have a designated section for where pictures can be taken.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there was a little bench near
Yeah.
the bathrooms last
Yeah,
year, or
we had
2
that.
years ago.
Yep, we had that there. That went over
They
great.
loved
Oh, that's
it.
a good spot.
So
Yep.
maybe we could put that back in.
You
to
could have
our-
Sparky the fire dog there too, maybe.
Yep.
You can ask the fire department about that.
Okay, so we could do that.
Mhm.
That would be good.
Mhm.
All right,
Good idea.
we can move on.
I think so. I think that was it, right? We weren't gonna do any more. It's just the paper, the ad will go in the paper, the article, and hopefully we'll get
Do you really
participation.
want to do coffee and donuts, or are you just throwing that out there? Like, is that something you want us to look into doing?
Oh, it's kind of a cool idea. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I wonder if like Murphy's would give us a deal or something for a
Yeah.
bunch of donuts.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're getting,
You
Like
could, and then you
100
could also
donuts or-
charge for like a quarter. I mean,
Or you can
know,
always
you
put a
could-
donation
We
bucket
probably
out.
need a lot
Yeah.
more donuts than that.
200?
Because like in the past, well, there's
400.
probably a couple hundred
400.
kids.
We can do
Like
something.
or do donut holes or something.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good idea. They do those donut
donut
holes. That's a
holes,
good
yeah.
idea.
See if we can't get
Because we do have funds.
either
Yep.
a
We
discounted
do.
rate or a donation or something along those lines.
Yep. They do.
I
As long
don't
as
have
people
no
don't freak
idea,
out about
'cause then
COVID,
Because
It's a lot more, goes a long
Yeah, there'll
way.
be a lot of kids.
things like that.
Okay.
Well, it's gonna be very popular because other communities are still doing drive-through Easter egg hunt, which is fine for their community, but I think it's nice that we're doing it in person for the,
Yeah.
it's all for the children.
Of course it is. All right, okay, so those are good ideas. We can move on to any new business. Does anyone have any new business?
I have no new business.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. So we were thinking, since we have all these great programs scheduled for the summer and we plan on doing more, maybe purchasing folding chairs. So in the past, chairs that are like this are brought to Wally Park truck by truck by truck by the maintenance guys. And we were thinking if we could get some folding chairs, and the maintenance guy had suggested maybe a nice caddy to hold them
that
in.
rolls them.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
store them up there, so
Yeah.
setting up for these isn't such a huge project, and we're gonna be getting a lot of use out of them, and
Yeah,
anybody-
and we own them,
yes.
and then we
Mhm.
keep them and we maintain them and.
Yeah, and,
Did you look up any prices yet?
yeah,
So folding chairs are a lot more expensive than I thought they
Yep,
were.
Yep,
So we could get probably 50 of them for about $1,000.
Okay.
If we wanted 50, we could get 100 for 2,000. We did have some money under various programs.
Yeah.
So
I think that we should. What do you guys think? I think it's an investment that's gonna be returnable.
you'll have those for a bazillion years. Think of the ones in your grandmother's basement.
Yeah.
As long as they don't get loaned out to every other place.
What do you think?
I think it'd be a good idea. I'll mark them up for us, stencil and paint if you want.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
I might
Good
have
idea.
some
I didn't even
minutes.
think about that. There you go.
Sure. The biggest thing would just be like, yeah, do that and then get them out of the way.
What do you guys think? Mike, John, you okay with chairs?
Yeah, I'm okay with them.
I think it'd be great.
And they'd be stored in the garage up there, so that way,
Good idea.
because it is true, when we have events, even for the senior center, they bring everything, the tables, the chairs, up to the pavilion, so it'll just make it easier.
You have to get one of those carts that you stack them on and roll them around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep,
Does the cart come with the purchase or you got?
the cart is separate.
John, you don't happen to know where you get those carts, do you?
No, but I can figure it out.
I was just wondering if you knew offhand.
Amazon
bet
has a
the-
lot.
I'll bet the school has them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, something to make it
So, so basically you're gonna just start looking at prices and rolling bins and. Roll.
I think we lost you.
For April and pull the trigger so we have it, because we do have this.
Oh, yeah.
We should email this stuff out too.
Yes.
Instead of just like showing it, and this is the
Oh.
flyer for, did I send this to you?
We can
I don't
email this
remember.
stuff out tomorrow if you guys
Yeah,
want.
and we should do it before meetings. I'm not used to always having Zoom.
Can you see it?
Those are the 3 grants that we got approved.
What are those all during the summer?
Yeah, tough to read, but
So it's a summer.
Yeah. So it's-
They're all during the day.
A magician,
Yeah.
a mad science, and a reptile
Food
show.
truck thing and arts thing.
June
If
30th,
it's during the
July
day,
21st, and August 18th.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, mostly kids shows and seniors.
They're gonna,
obviously.
they're gonna email it to you guys.
Yeah, we'll email
So that's
everything.
kinda why we did it.
Okay.
It was in the summertime.
Anything to draw people.
Could have face painting. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do at craft fairs. Face painting,
Yeah.
to draw people in.
I know, very good face painter.
Ooh,
I'll tell you.
there you go. Could have them at one of these events too. That'd be cool. Yeah. Lots of ideas. That's it.
All right. Okay, so, we're done with new business. Anyone entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second it.
Steve motion to adjourn the meeting, Mike Shields second it.
I've been to so many meetings.
Jeannie Reed votes to, end the meeting.